Hi there, customer experience community. This is Dominic. Welcome to another video. This is the channel where we take customer experience to new heights, one day at a time, one video at a time, and one new skill at a time. In today's video, we're going to look at a demo from Mavenoid. It's going to be carried out by Lucas. And what is Mavenoid? Well, Mavenoid is a scalable support solution for hardware companies. So hardware companies can build out a knowledge base with the help of Mavenoid. And why they want to do that is because they have a really cool self-service, live support, and also troubleshooting. So the customer experience is mind-blowing, and I'm very excited for you to see it. And without further ado, let's jump ahead and see what Lucas has in store for us.
Love hearing your take on it and giving a rundown of more what it actually is.
Yes, I still don't get what Mavenoid is.
Let's solve that. Okay. So Mavenoid in action. One slide on this. So you have an end user. Let it be a consumer of headphones, normal person, not tech savvy or so, or a technician. So an internal person is working at Toyota, for example, and he needs to serve something. When he has an issue, as you know, in our day and age, he will go to a digital support channel. That's our experience. He goes to Google, he goes to email, phone, chat, help desk, whatever. He goes somewhere, right? That's where Mavenoid's core comes in, right? So for hardware, we build out these virtual assistances. You can think of it like a bot, but you can't really chat with it. Like it's we haven't designed it to be like a human saying hello. Like instead, we take the symptom coming up, and then we try to have a diagnostic approach. I'll show it in a bit. But basically, we take the manual, we build it out. We have an integration with Zendesk. We can pull over, all the learnings they have and content. That's usually what we do. And then we go live in any of these channels. We serve, I think we're live in 70 languages. We have support for 400. Being a European company, that's been like the main thing from the start. Like, are you able to actually have learnings and support in multiple languages?
Okay.
So that's the main piece. And our focus on hardware here has really helped us to really become a great tool for the right fit of companies that sell some kind of hardware. We're seeing in the best industries, for example, consumer electronics, that we're able to actually reach up to 70-80% self-service resolution by breaking it down for that. And that's optimization, saving time, and so on. But then, like I said earlier, what we do a lot also is that we integrate both push and pull, get and post info. So this is where Zendesk is a pretty common system we work with and have a app on their web store and so on. So we push information, we update, for example, shipping info, or we update a ticket for the agent working or so. And that's the first piece of Mavenoid. So purely self-service, optimization, you build it up and you try to optimize. Then what we also have, which we launched together with a company who has a lot of agents and who also were in Zendesk at the time, is live human support escalation. So we can transform the self-service into a live chat. Pretty straightforward. But in this live chat, the agent will actually get the learnings from the machine learning behind the scenes. Like, okay, in the 100 problems before here, this was the issue that solved this problem, or those kind of things. They will also do a text chat, a video call to actually see the product, as you see here, or a phone call, or just escalate to tier 2, field service, whatever. And then the last piece of Mavenoid is really the buzzwords, right? So the AI, the machine learning, all those things being thrown around. Basically, what we have built is a feedback loop in as much as we can in every piece. So based on how one agent or an end user solves an issue, we're able to take that learning, feed it back to the self-service model, generate new content, have a product expert sitting there confirming or writing new content. And hopefully by doing that, we can capture more insights, more knowledge over time. And that's been like the biggest pitch to the largest companies who has, millions of tickets. Like if they're able to optimize that with 10% year over year, that's a lot of money saved for them.
Sure.
So that's mainly it in Mavenoid overview. So there's 3 pieces: self-service optimization, optimizing for hardware. Then there's the triage and escalation, saving time for agents, hopefully making their life easier. And then the improvement over time, which is data analytics and tagging and stuff. So that's the overview. Any questions, or what's in your head when you've seen this?
I think you answered. I was thinking of asking who is your target audience, and you answered that you need to like large teams that not large teams but large knowledge bases, I imagine, to be able to index obviously the documentation of the products, the hardware, and then I assume, but correct me if I'm wrong, I assume that you require access to the CRM of choice, the CRM who you're working with, Zendesk, HubSpot, ServiceNow, Shopify, to analyze the incoming requests, I assume, and then match them with the knowledge base.
So to the first point there, we have around like I said earlier, I was running the startup and SMB team, so we have around 40 or 50 like startups who didn't have a manual when they started working with us. Like they just built everything in Mavenoid, writing the manuals. They have seen, more scalable growth, right? Like they didn't have to hire a call center outsourcing agent, like, those kind of things. But to your point, our best customer is the larger ones who have some kind of constant flow, right? Like otherwise the data we don't have enough data to improve it over time, right? So, but it doesn't really have to be massive. I would say, the average size of our customers are a few 100 employees and up. Like that's the best type of. So you need like a few agents. That's the minimum. So in terms of the knowledge base and so on, I'll show you it in a demo. But basically, what we do is that we take all type of sources, we feed it into Mavenoid, we build out the flows. I'm going to show you one for Thermomix in a bit that I built in 30 minutes. We go live. Our usual go live time is for startups is a few days. For larger companies where you have more, due diligence, so on, it's a few weeks. But just try to go live as quick as possible. Then we have this feedback loop kicking in, and it's a continuous work. Like it's you always want to improve it. So and the way we sync with Zendesk, for example, is that we send tickets to Zendesk. We can have agents working in Zendesk with their Mavenoid tab if they want. Like that's really the work for it. But Mavenoid would be like the external facing tool for the end user in most cases.
Okay.
But yeah, should I jump into how it looks so you get a feel of the actual product?
Sure. Yes.
Let's do it. So I'm just gonna share my other screen here. So jumping in here. So quick teaser to the Thermomix one I built out. But before we go in there, I just want to talk a bit about, you mentioned like different things you could do, different systems and so on, right? So on our website, we talked about Husqvarna a bit there over email. Like Husqvarna, for example, they're a global brand. Like they have resellers in every country. So with them, their focus was localization. Like how can we be localized as much as possible? So what we did with them is that we went live in like a lot of 4 languages, 50 products, and 6 categories in 8 weeks. So that was like a typical rollout. We took what they have, we modeled it, and then just rolled it out.
So what does when you say 4 languages, did the customer provide the translations for the knowledge base in 4 languages, or did you do anything for that?
So we have an internal TMS tool. So just either you pay us an extra fee, and we can have, I think we've been using DeepML for that, like their translation services. It costs a few cents per word or so. Or if you have multi-language manuals, we upload those. So it's really where you have the source of the languages that you want to provide. But for the end user, I'm jumping ahead of myself here now, but let's go there right away. For Husqvarna, I'm in Sweden, right? So I'm looped to the Swedish website. In the right corner, you have Mavenoid popping up. It says 3 different things. It says guides, field service. This is in Swedish now, but we also support, like, if I would have been a person coming in English, like it would have been in English, or French, all these languages are here. So that's towards the end user. Like the model is indifferent of language. On the agent side, so if you have an agent who doesn't speak French, they're also able to do auto translations in the chat, which goes back and forth like that.
Okay.
So that's languages. If I answered that quickly.
Yes.
Cool. So just continuing on what you can build. Bosch dishwashers or laundry machines, they had one thing they wanted to optimize. That was field service, right? It's very costly for them when they send a technician, and it actually wasn't that big of a problem. So we focus on just improving online troubleshooting, like just going down, error codes, like what's happening with the product. That was their use case. Then I saw there on Formex that they had a bunch of warranty stuff. Jabra is an example of that. For example, Jabra focused purely on their warranty process to begin with. Like, how are we able to automate refunds, detect fraud, not send fake products when the person is faking their, those kind of things. But yeah, there's a bunch of things in here, and then there's a few on self-service, and then you mentioned startup. Like, this was a startup in Italy who didn't have manuals. They wrote everything in Mavenoid, and then they launched it. And yeah, I mean, you can read the quote. Like, they used Mavenoid instead of hiring call center people.
Okay.
So that's the scope. Hope I've established the use case and what's possible at the glimpse at least.
Sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Appreciate it. So let's go into FreeQuiz. So what you're going to see here is an assistant I built out using the product. It took me 30 minutes or so, 45 maybe. Basically, what I did is that on the website, I think there was a manual down here. So I downloaded that PDF, and then also I grabbed the link. So if you go into Mavenoid. So Mavenoid is just a web tool, log in with your credentials, pretty standard. Then you have three things, right? You have the assistant builder, where you build out these flows. These flows can be regarding use case, for example, e-commerce use case, let's close a customer, or an entire product manual and so on. You have them in different languages, as you see here. Then you have the agent dashboard where you take calls. I'm going to show you that in a bit. And then you have analytics, and then in settings, you have the integrations and so on. So what I did before we met here today was that I went into add flow. There's a few ways to add flows. So either you start raw. Here there's no AI or nothing, right? You just click and drag and write your use cases. This is what a lot of startups have done who didn't have manuals. If we have manuals, we can auto-generate stuff. If I enable a Zendesk integration, we're able to scribe that information and push it in. We also have this fairly experimental, but it works somewhat online scraper. So this reads the internet. So that's what I did here, right? I went in and I dropped FreeQuiz, dropped the link and so on. Then I press generate flow. Then we're utilizing GDP3, if you know OpenAI's web scraper.
No, I don't know it, but I know what a web scraper is. Okay.
Yeah. No, OpenAI, that's basically it's like Elon Musk's AI company. They scrape the internet.
Okay.
So we just tap into what they have done, and then we filter it for this product, and then what it gives us is basically information about the product. So what you see here is basically pretty straightforward. Our product, I'm not going to get into all the boxes and so on, but it's basically it was built out in terms of what it was able to find. I then spent 15 minutes polishing, finding some paths to show you, and so on, right? So it's not perfect, but it's something. So on the website, in the right corner, you have this button. It lies here, and here's the flow. So you can ask it about a lot of different categories, right? So we have troubleshooting, we have FAQs, we have the raw manuals, we have pure optimization things like sign up to our newsletter. If this person do that, they will be signed up. Pretty simple. But yeah, so that's how I built it. Let's just go in. Let's say I just want to get started, for example. That's a pretty common thing. If I press this search here, I'm going to get that information. So there was a video. Drop the link. It's playing in this view, and then we have a step-by-step guide, right? So if I'm on my phone, I can swipe through this and actually break it down for the end user. So this is fairly straightforward, just an FAQ. So yeah, do I
Wow.
have another question? Sorry, question?
No, it's just thinking to myself. It's almost like it's the experience. It looks very nice on desktop. I don't know how it can look on mobile, but yeah, it's almost like you're having another website within the website, which I mean, I guess I see why you could use it for ticket deflection, right? So deflect a user to actually send in a request to ask a question.
Yeah, no, you're totally right. Like there's a lot of content in here. What we have found over time is that people, knowledge bases and manuals are good, but people are pretty lazy. They won't reach page 50 if you tell them to. They will just send a ticket. But if they actually are presented like this with information, they might try it out. So let me show you how it looks on iPhone. So it's optimized for mobile. So this is iPhone 12, right? Let's go. What more do I have here? Let's do a warranty claim, right? I want to register a warranty or something. I'll say what I need help with. I have a warranty claim. Then we just automate this, pretty straightforward, right? So if there's a record in Zendesk of this person or something, we can then, update the info. We can help them to find their serial number. Yeah, just breaking it down. And then if I just take a date, oops, let's just remove that, 2021. Then we basically can update the system with this, right? So a ticket coming in or updating a warranty record of this product and so on. So yeah, I would like to register, not my headphones, that's another one. But yeah, so that's that example. If we go back now and take something more complicated, so let's take troubleshooting. It breaks down. I need help with the actual product here. So troubleshooting. Then we come into our troubleshooting view. In here we have a search. This was like the first thing we built out. And the reason we built that out is that, especially when it comes to hardware, people will describe their symptoms very differently. Some people will say it won't start. Some people will say the cylinder won't spin. Others will say, I see smoke. All these things have different root causes. So this system has to be learning and improving itself over time. That's what the search is, NLP basically. Then you have common problems. That's just data driven. What's the things that comes up? If you don't want to search, you can also just continue to different categories. But let's say something like, food is cold here. Pretty generic search. A lot of reasons to why the food might be cold. Maybe I clicked an option down there now. I'm not sure. Let's go back. There we go. Food is cold. So it doesn't hit, right? It understands that those means the same thing. Okay, and now what's happening is that this is a diagnosis approach. It's going to the doctor. It's like going to the doctor. You have a headache, you go there. The doctor is going to ask you questions. Have you had water? Have you slept well? Then he will say solutions. He won't tell you to go and read every pharmaceutical paper out there. This is the same thing. So has it been preheated or preset? I'll say yes, it has. Okay, first solution, set temperature. I try it doesn't work. My problem is still there. Okay, check the power cord. Is it properly plugged in? Pretty straightforward, but everyone should do that before they reach out. And you can have how many solutions of this you want.
I agree. I agree. Yeah, I see this as very useful. I have heard this kind of, let's say, the need for this. There are some hacks in Zendesk to do this, but not as, let's say, as interactive as this one. But you would have an article like this with a step-by-step, like try step 1, step 2, step 3, but it didn't have this interactive type of moving to the next, or yes, it was all kind of approach, which yeah, I'll give you that. It's quite nice. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, and there's the chatbot space is super crowded. Zendesk has their own support bot, which almost comes free of charge, right? That's works perfectly for a lot of companies. That's why we're trying to really insist on only working with hardware and brands who value this extra, it's an extra investment. But let me just show you this now when it doesn't work. So self-service is not enough. How do we integrate to Zendesk and so on? So either we just create a ticket in Zendesk, very straightforward. We just take the information that will then feed into Zendesk immediately as a ticket. Or if you have someone available right now and you want to use Mavenoid's live support feature, I'll go in here. And then we have a triage. Before we have a triage to Zendesk, we can also customize it depending on what the customer's done before they come here. So we have different triages based on their issue. So we won't ask a person who is asking about warranty the same thing as a person who just want to buy your product, with the goal of improving the customer experience. But I'll say I'm in Romania. My email, I'll drop that up here. Then I'll take a picture. So let me take a picture of the product here. Taking a picture or video. Press done. And now this turns into a live chat, right? Let's go back to mobile. This is on mobile. I'll swipe this to the left. And on the right, you have the agent dashboard in Mavenoid. This can also be a tab in Zendesk. So in the queue here, I have a person coming in. I see the language they speak, and I see all the things they have done, right? I know the issues they have, what they have tried. I see information from they submitted. If they're logged into the platform, I can fetch stuff behind the scenes. I can do a bunch of things here. I'll start the chat. Now this is a live chat. I'll send a reply to the customer. Help. Yeah, back and forth. I'll ask him to take a picture. Take a picture of your device again. He does that. The picture comes up. I can then draw on the image. So this is once again optimized for hardware, right? So try that twice. That goes back to the end user. Back and forth. If this person starts speaking another language, so let's say they start speaking, my Romanian is pretty bad, sorry about that, but my Swedish is better. So I can then say something in English, that will then come in Swedish. So just a neat, quick feature there. Then my favorite thing with the whole live support thing, that's I as an agent, I can say something like, okay, I can see that you've tried X, Y, and Z. Just confirming with them, like, I see you. I know you're trying. I know you're struggling. Do you mind if I call you with camera? Just keeping that going, the good experience. Go up in the right corner. You can do a voice call, video call, or you can also transfer it to another agent if you have multiple, like tier 2 or whatever. But now let me just answer myself here. Sometimes Zooms take a big capacity. So this should load now. You're going to see me from 3 angles. Not super helpful. In the real world, the customer would show the agent what they have in hand, right?
Sure.
The agent would then draw on the screen. Have you tried this or that? They could pause the video. They could download a picture for later. You can do a bunch of things. My favorite piece with this is that when I hang up the call, I'm not hanging up the chat. And that sounds simple, but for the customer, that's the thing that sucks with support today, right? Like if I wait on hold and it breaks and call again, I'm lost. All the information I've done, I have to restart. That won't happen here. I can make other notes. I can say you need to talk to my colleague Stig or another agent group in Israel because that's where you are. All this stuff is still stored. And then I can say something like end chat. I can send him a free discount for his next purchase. That's very, very popular actually with e-commerce sites. Or I can say this is not solved, which will then tag it like that in Zendesk and so on.
Okay.
And yeah, when the session is over, we have a quick debrief with the agent. So the agent is asked to give a debrief, what happened, and also potential recommendations. And this is one of the feedback loops, right? So the agent can say, we need a better guide for warranty. If we do that, you can then optimize that for the client. So they actually improve their self-service for the next customer.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, that's a quick overview of Mavenoid self-service, live support. There's always more things that we could get into in particular. Want to pause here and hear your reactions and what you're thinking.
Yeah, well, wow, I'm very impressed. Well done. I actually see there's a lot of work that has been put into this, so congratulations. This looks very good. Customer experience looks very nice. One of the things that I have dedicated my career to is to share good customer experiences. And yeah, I started a little bit skeptical, but I'm very, very impressed. I have one question though.
Yep.
Which is, why would you need Zendesk if you have this? Like, what? Zendesk